Ben and Bushwhacker, reminding you to get all your best Jeep news from the XJ Talk Show. And don't forget to follow Bushwhacker on Facebook and Twitter.
Howdy, boys and girls. We are going to be starting the show here shortly. I think we've got all our technical issues worked out. There's always seems like there's something that I got to do prior to us hitting the record button. So we will be a few minutes as I get all the video stuff straightened out and lined out. But the absolutely positively good news is we can hear Tammy and 3D and real living color tonight. She's nice and loud, so we shouldn't be spending 45 minutes correcting no audio from Tammy, which I will remind you guys that was not her fault. It was fine on her end. It was just something strange going on with some equipment over here that immediately started working right after the show. Sit back, listen to some music, and I'm going to focus on getting this video stuff set up so we can get started. Tammy, I'm trying to center you on one of these little small windows. Could you sit in the position that you would be normally during the show? Perfect. I got you. Thanks. And Josh, your mic is on.
Yeah, I just had it muted. I was doing some practice reads a little minute ago, and I don't know. I had it muted. Don't have anything to say or contribute quite yet. And I do need a little more practice read on this first story, so...
Okay. slowly but surely figuring out what the hell I'm doing. We will be getting started here in just a second, just making a few little modifications.
And I'm ready whenever everything else is ready, Tony. I'm just sitting here reading.
Okay. I'm really just rearranging things so I can find them better here on the video mixer. It gets confusing when the show's going on if I can't find the stuff I'm looking for. People be saying, why am I hating on the rednecks? I never hating on the rednecks. Unless they're truck drivers. I know we got a couple listeners whose ears just perked up when I said truck drivers. Okay. Missed one. Well, I don't know why that's doing that, but I'm going to leave it like it. It's not that big a deal. All right, I think I'm ready. We'll see. And we'll just have to go through it as as time allows. Okay, Tammy, your mic's back on.
Check, check, check.
Let's see. I need to get this back over here. Actually, I'm probably going to have to turn the volume down on you. All that messing around with I did with the volume last week. Give me a little another check there, Tammy. Let me see where you are on the meter.
Check 1, 2. Hi guys, how are you doing? I was at wine painting class tonight. Wine glass painting.
Oh, I was going to say, do you paint with wine, and how do you keep the brush out of your mouth?
Such a waste.
Wine painting.
All right, so you're right on target, so not a problem. I think it's just I'm used to the more melodious tones of Josh.
The melodious tones of yours truly. Brought to you by the wonderful scent of 30 Weight.
Okay.
It's not just for breakfast anymore.
All right, well, I'm going to close up a few things here, and we'll get started.
All right.
So, Tammy, is it safe to assume you have an empty wine glass and then a glass that has wine in it?
Yeah, it was a plastic wine cup. Or not even a wine cup. It was just a plastic cup that had the wine. We got one free glass.
Oh, it's one of those.
Four glasses.
It's like a Tupperware party. You're going to be buying something.
Yeah, well, it was at like an art studio. They also had like mosaic stuff and painting picture, like I did paint night where everybody paints. They had a whole group of people doing that. So we paid $25 and I got to paint 4 wine glasses and I got one free glass of wine.
Oh, okay. Well, good. That's good for us. Because a whole bottle would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, I had two glasses. I paid $3 for another glass or plastic cup. My husband's like, "Oh, you should get drunk. That would be funny to listen to you on the show." Like, no.
He's no help at all, is he?
I gotta drive home in the Jeep. I don't want to be driving drunk.
Oh, very true. You don't want to have to. Well, you could still drive it off road. You just wouldn't be able to drive it to and from with the suspended license. Okay. Well, we're at our standard 15 minutes after the hour. Let's get going and
let's do it.
We'll.
Here we go.
Yep. I'm just looking at a couple of shots here real quick. Tammy, you've moved over to the side a little bit. If you can come towards your right. The other way.
There.
Yeah. So that's... you went back to where you were.
I should not move. Is that good?
Well, I don't want you to be uncomfortable.
No. I'm fine now.
Okay, let me readjust. Okay, I got you centered. These are little boxes that really just show your face and none of the surrounding stuff. So that's the reason why the positioning is so critical. It's not that tight, but I want you to be able to move around. But Josh needs to hold perfectly still, though. He does that sometimes just to make me think that Skype is frozen. Yeah, exactly. That's the 70s end of the movie thing where everybody jumps and is doing the karate thing. All right, so let's get going. Oh, you know what? I didn't bring up my little app to time the show, and I forgot to tell you about that, Tammy. I started working on a little timer app that displays the amount of time that we are into the show, elapsed time. You probably never heard about it. Josh and I talked about it a while back because there wasn't really anything out there that would do that for us. All right, so here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Josh and I talked about this last night. If you're looking at the show notes, instead of going straight in to the This Week in Jeep thing, we're going to do a little discussion about you joining the show.
I saw that.
So it'll be a little chit chat, and then we'll looks like after that, of course, we'll do the quick Jeep tip, and then This Week in Jeep.
Sounds good.
So I don't know. It'll be free form. I don't know how long we'll be doing it. 5 or 10 minutes probably. And Josh, did we forego the campfire side chat?
I threw it in there just in case.
Okay.
We can totally skip over it. So it's in there just in case.
Okay. All right, here we go. Damn, beavers building a dam in the background. Okay, here we go.
The XJ Talk Show is for entertainment purposes only. Any advice or information provided on this show should be verified by alternative sources prior to making any changes or modifications to your vehicle. We are not experts, just people that enjoy the Jeep hobby and don't mind talking endlessly about it. P.S. We love you.
Hey, stud. It's time for the XJ Talk Show. Now, here's my two favorite boys, Tony and Josh.
Heidi-ho, neighbor. Well, this is episode 170. We're going to be doing something a little different tonight. We're going to make a little announcement or so, aren't we, Josh?
Yeah, that's right. I've been saying for quite a long time now that the XJ Talk Show has always had a third seat open for, just about anybody that wants to join. And somebody has joined us. You guys over the last, I'm going to say 6 or 7 weeks or so, have heard a new voice here on the show, and her name is Tammy. She goes by Jeep Mama and has a pretty good presence online, and is kind of in the first stages of her Jeep life, as it were. And we've heard a lot about that as well. Well, we've decided to make her a permanent aspect of the show. We've tied her up in the closet, and she's not going anywhere.
Well, I'm sure it wouldn't be the first time. But
no.
well, no, I get the feeling that there's lots of times where she's out running around in that Jeep where she needs to be home. Am I right, Tammy?
Yes, that's true. Taking care of the kids instead of out in the Jeep.
Well, it's all about the family, and of course, now that you got a Jeep, if there's any emergencies, you'll be able to be on the spot and help them out. So, want to thank you very much for joining us. Of course, you've been a contributor here for the last several shows, and I know that Josh isn't easy to put up with, so we decided I'm just really happy that you're going to join us anyway.
Well, I'm very pleased to join you guys. I'm excited, and I'm going to love to talk about Wranglers. Yeah,
that's a great thing too, because we didn't have enough of that Wrangler talk on here, and I've said it very often that we need to reach out to the women who might be interested in going off road, and of course, all women love Jeep Wranglers. At some point, at some level, they love Jeep Wranglers. So this is you're going to be the envy of lots of women out there, I'm sure, and not because you're working with us, because you're in a Wrangler going off road and prissing it up, putting the purple accents on it and the little purple hand stickers for the Jeep Wave, and all the things that you do. And of course, we're going to be hearing more about the things that you're doing with your Jeep.
Yeah, and Monday there's going to be some more purple. I'm not going to add it Monday, but Monday I'm going to go get something else purple for the Jeep.
Oh,
that's a surprise.
Right. Well, we'll have to dive into that next week as well. Yeah, nice tease for an upcoming part of next week's show.
Next Thursday.
So we've set Tammy up obviously with the Wrangler Talk segment, as she is a Wrangler owner, and it sounds like now Tammy, if correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are a 2 Jeep family, or is this you're on your second Jeep?
I'm on my second Jeep. I started out with a Sahara. I bought in 2013, and I had no idea I was going to enjoy off-roading, and I got bit by the off-roading bug. So one day I was up at the car dealer and traded in the Sahara for a Rubicon so I could do some more off-roading.
So now you've got a JK, and you've had it for a little while, doing some upgrades to it. And obviously, there's a learning process with any new vehicle, and especially when it comes to vehicle customization, such as upgrades. And of course, when we get into things like the mechanical and suspension geometry, that whole thing involving lift kits and armor and the whole 9 yards. And obviously, there's a whole other aspect to a learning curve where we talk about wheeling off-road and off-road driving. And that's something that's probably a constant progression for just about anybody, unless you do it for a living.
Correct. And it's, for me, I have no experience in auto mechanics or anything. I mean, like, I was under the hood for the first time of my Jeep this week, and I looked at him like, I don't know anything about all this. So everything with my vehicle is a totally new experience.
No, it happens to us all. I remember my first working on a Jeep, and it wasn't even mine. It was a buddy's, and I was helping him build it up and going through that learning process myself. But now Tammy's going to be sharing with us, guys, some product reviews as well. It's not going to be just Wrangler specific. I'm sure we're going to cover many platforms with some of those. Some of them may be specific to the JK, or they may cover just about any vehicle out there. We're also going to hear more about her evolution in this Jeep world as she goes through her own growing pains, as it were. We all go through those in with our vehicles as we build them up and modify them through our Jeep life. So looking forward to Tammy's presence here on the show, and Tammy, thanks in advance, and of course thanks for everything you've already done. You filled in for me very graciously a couple of times, and have done the job very well. So thanks again for that, and again looking forward to all the future segments here on the XJ Talk Show.
I'm so excited to join you guys, and I look forward to every week when we get together and talk about Jeeps.
Well, that's important, because if you're not having fun, well, then there's things are going to get really awkward really quick. So now Tony and I have fun. This is a hobby for us, guys. We've told you time and time again. Tony and I are just a couple of knuckleheads with microphones, and we enjoy doing this as a hobby, and bringing the show to you every week is just a little bit of an outlet for us to maybe placate into our fantasies of being a radio disc jockey back on the air in the golden days. But
Bob
no,
Uecker,
we also love our Jeeps, and we love talking about them, and of course being able to share with you guys our own experiences and the technical knowledge that comes with all that, which we will be sharing with you guys throughout the show and throughout the weeks as well, as we always do.
Yeah, some of that technical knowledge you get is, as many of you well know, it's going through the School of Hard Knocks, and
that's right.
Tammy's just on the beginning of that. She actually posted up that picture of her under the hood, and I think the comment I made was, "Uh-oh, things are getting serious. The hood's up."
Yeah.
You were wiring up lights, though, I believe, weren't you?
Yeah, my second try at it. My first try, apparently I didn't do such a good job.
Oh, well, that's a shame. We'll have to hear more about that down the road, but
yeah, definitely. It was actually, I'm very pleased. I learned a new skill,
mm-hmm.
and I went outside my comfort zone. And anyway, that's a story for another show. But I'll be excited to tell you all about it.
Another tease.
Oh, very good.
Another
tease. Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta break all these down.
All this content.
All right. Well, let's move on to our Jeep tip here.
This is Steve, 4.3 LXJ. Whenever you go wheeling, always have a full-size spare. It doesn't do you any good to have a little donut or no spare at all if you have a flat tire. So if you go wheeling, make sure you've got a full-size spare someplace, on top, in back, on the back, someplace, because flat tires happen.
Yeah, they certainly do. And
I'm going to take that one step further. And for all of you guys who have full case lockers or lunchbox lockers, you want that full size spare to be the same size. So if you're running 33s, you don't want to have a 31-inch spare just because it'll fit in the back. No, because if you're running a locker that's a spool or a lunchbox locker, something like that, the difference in wheel size is going to make those axle shafts spin at different rates. And, you're going to end up grenading your differential. Not something that you want to have happen on the trail. You're already having a bad enough day with a flat tire.
Best case is you get a lot of chirping and metal debris in the differential as the pinion, the ring and pinion wear down. No, I guess it would actually be. Yeah, I guess actually it would be. Yeah, I guess it would. It'd be everything with gears in there would wear down. So yeah, don't do that. Well, now let's get into the regular show.
First week in Jeep.
Oh, guys, Jeep may put a pickup into production sometime. Maybe. The word on the street is Jeep brand is incredibly popular these days. I would tend to agree, but I would say it's always been popular. They say the brand has a huge following of loyal enthusiasts. Well, we do what we can, but you know what they say? It's a Jeep thing. They also say that these people are likely to buy anything with a badge. Now, wait just a minute. I only partially resemble that remark. Sure, I have a Jeep, and I wear a Jeep beanie sometimes, and I wear Jeep shirts, and okay, I even have Jeep socks. But there's a line in the sand, damn it. I mean, come on. It's not like I'm going to go out and buy a new Cherokee or a Renegade. Yeah, no, that's never going to happen. So the Cherokee, or the recent article posted online says there's one thing many of the Jeep enthusiasts would like to buy, and that's a pickup. No, not one to tow their XJ to the trail with. I'm talking about a Jeep pickup. It looks like we might actually get one day. Jeep hasn't had a pickup in the mix since the Comanche, which was in production from 1986 to 1992, and for most of us, we know it as the MJ. It was introduced back when the company was still a part of American Motors, which changed in 1987 when AMC was purchased by Chrysler. Comanche didn't fit in quite as well with the Chrysler's plans since it overlapped with the existing Dodge Dakota. That overlap and Comanche's slow sales led to its eventual demise. But all is not lost. According to the Detroit News, Jeep's very own Mike Manley, I know you guys have heard that name on here before a few times, and would like to see a pickup join the lineup. That's right, Jeep wants this as much as everybody else. They've even showed off a few concept models like the J12 that you guys might remember being unveiled at the 2012 Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, but things haven't gone a single step further since then. Manley says that although it may have a place in their portfolio, it doesn't yet have a time. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Apparently, Jeep has other priorities right now, like trying to save face with these blasphemous Renegades and Cherokees. So for the meantime, pickup fans will have to wait a little while longer. And speaking of the Easter Jeep Safari, every year Jeep rolls out at least a few concepts for one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Jeep exclusive event on the planet. This year, Jeep is not going to disappoint. They relied heavily on styling from the brand's 74-year history to develop 7 working concept vehicles, including the aforementioned Wrangler-based pickup. That will take to the 2015 Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, Utah, here in just a couple of weeks. The Safari draws thousands of off-road enthusiasts from all over the U.S. and beyond to the Utah desert each year to run the region's hundreds of miles of trails. Jeep designers have been developing special concept vehicles for the Safari each year since 2002, drawing extensively from Mopart's Performance Parts Bin. Head of the Jeep brand, Mike Manley, says, "This is my sign of spring. When we get to this time of year and these guys do crazy things with these vehicles, my whole mood lifts." And who can blame the guy? I mean, you're essentially the biggest VIP at one of the most amazing Jeep events ever put on. I'd be pretty damn happy too. 4 of the 7 vehicles are Wrangler-based and are likely to make the biggest splash among Jeep enthusiasts. But instead of going over every detail of all these, I thought I'd focus on one that really grabbed my eye and what I think you guys will find to be the most interesting in the bunch as well. With a throwback to the old name badge we haven't seen in quite a while, and yes, they're doing it again. But this time, I think third time's the charm. I present to you the Chief. A rolling homage to the original Cherokee built off of a Wrangler Unlimited platform. The Chief is styled both inside and out as a Hawaiian-themed surf vehicle. Not my first choice of motif, but I can look past all that. The exterior features a custom 20-slot Razor grille and classic Jeep headlights and tail lamps atop thin chrome bumpers. They even painted it in the baby sky blue of the old Jeeps were most commonly found in. This thing looks like a cross between a Kaiser Wagoneer, a Wrangler, and of course you can see the Cherokee Chief influences loud and clear. Designers hid the rear door handles inside the vehicle and left open air sides from the B-pillar rearward. Designers dressed the inside in rosewood trim, complete with a custom-made rosewood tiki transmission shift knob and transfer case shift knob, as well as rosewood floorboards mounted in the rear cargo area. Sure, it's a little fancy and some of it's even a little bit gaudy, but again, this is all just for show. Is there a chance we'll actually see this come to production? Probably not. But it's easy to picture this thing being offered in the Jeep lineup in the near future, with some more practical changes to make it more market-worthy. If you guys would like to see the entire Jeep concept lineup for the 2015 Easter Jeep Safari, and I highly recommend that you do, head over to autoblog.com. They seem to have the biggest slideshow of these cool rigs. And hey, if you guys are going to Easter Jeep Safari or even know somebody who is, we want to hear from you, or them even. Yes, we'd like to hear a report about the Easter Jeep Safari, how it went for you, and of course some pictures and all that good stuff. So if you're planning on going, or you know somebody who is, please get in touch with us. I'd like to give a big thanks to Steve 4.3 LXJ and John Prerunner 1982 for helping out with tonight's stories. You guys got something you think that we should report on, or you got a response to any one of our stories here on This Week in Jeep, please send an email to newstips@xjtalkshow.com.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of those messages in with news tips, and we really appreciate it. Thanks, guys, and I know Josh really appreciates it too. So,
absolutely,
Josh, after hearing this name time and time again, and I don't know, Tammy, you may have the same question. Mike Manley, do you think that's a real name, or you think that's just used to sell Jeeps?
I'm wondering. Yeah, he's just a figment of their imagination. No, I think that's a real guy. I mean, maybe he changed his last name because it used to be, Boydendecker or something weird. I have no idea. I literally just pulled that out of the air. So, but Manly is certainly a much more interesting, more powerful name.
Certainly it's a very manly name. It's almost like you're reading a book, a novel, and how they name some of the characters like something evil. Somebody went wild in a thesaurus and looked up an evil sounding name, and they named the character that. The names always kind of throw me off in novels, and it's just like, that's not a real name.
Well, my son's second grade teacher was Mrs. Manley, so I think of her automatically, and she was definitely not manly.
Do you ever wonder sometimes when these women marry men and the names are just strange, and you go, there really must have been love there.
Change your name.
There really must have been love there to go with that name. But anyway, so Mike Manley. Every time I hear that, it's certainly something that you can remember. It's almost like the DJs going with popular character names from television, so they don't have to make a name for themselves. They just,
I'm DJ Michael Hunt, but you can call me Mike.
That's right. Or bend over, bend over. All righty, well, that's enough of that. So let's move along.
My name's fucking Audrey, kid, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tapa Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
Well, at least it wasn't right after the toilet flushing. Coming up on Wrangler Talk, I'm going to talk about how I want to beef up my JK. And I still have many questions, so stick around because in a little bit, I'm going to introduce my new product review segment.
This is Steve, 4.3LXJ, with a quick Jeep tip. This Jeep tip is probably not one that anybody's going to pay attention to, except for maybe myself. But if you can, always cover your tires with flares and things so that you can wheel clean. This is real handy if you ever want to have your wife wheel with you in the mud, because generally the girls don't like to get dirty.
When he said cover your wheels in flares, I was thinking road flares.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know whether he was.
He's talking about the fender flares. So the mud doesn't get.
I knew where he was going with that.
I did too, but when he said it, cover your tire in flares, I went, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." What is?
Right.
It's going to be very colorful,
Right. Yes. I'm thinking of some Chinese fireworks.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Maybe like one of those. What do they call the rocket boosts they would put on the cargo planes during World War II? It's like J-Rod or J-Ram.
Yeah, it is like it's J something.
It's a rocket motor assist for short field takeoffs. It's something similar to get up and over the rocks. We do need like an anti-grav system. That'd be cheating, but people think lockers are cheating too.
Speaking of cheating on the trail, I saw this one tube frame buggy. Yeah, I got a quick story, guys, before we go any further. I just had to put this out there. And it kind of plays into that whole anti-gravity aspect of things. But I saw this one completely one-off, completely custom tube frame buggy thing. And it really did not resemble any other vehicle I have ever seen. But it was a two-seater. It was rather large, and everything on it was hydraulic with the exception of the engine itself. It didn't have any coil springs. It didn't have any leaf springs. Its suspension was hydraulic rams. That's right. Each corner had a single hydraulic ram with about 3 feet of travel, I swear. This thing was ridiculous. And he went through some of the most insane terrain I have ever seen. And we're talking like some serious rock crawling here. And he would always keep the body level by adjusting the pressure in the hydraulic ram cylinders on each 4 corners. And so he would start to get off camber. He would just push that corner back up, push this other corner down, and continue on the rocks. It was crazy. It was unlike anything I have ever seen, and I consider it cheating.
It's brilliant.
Say another magic button.
Exactly. It's brilliant. I'm surprised. I wonder if he's moved forward with that now and he actually has it where it auto levels so he doesn't have to actually think about it.
I would think that by now he would have a roof on it, because last time I saw him, and I've only seen him twice up in the Tillamook State Forest where I typically wheel, and each time it was raining, and each time he didn't have a roof.
Interesting. Well, speaking of something that's interesting, we are going to jump right into This Week in Jeep. And is that right?
No,
we've done that. We are supposed to introduce ourselves at this point,
right.
And
I was in the wrong place on the show notes.
That's all right. So the guys, this is the part of the show where Tony and I, and well, now Tammy as well, we're going to introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about xjtalk.com and basically what XJ Talk Show is all about. We are here to talk about all that is Jeep, guys. That's including the Wranglers, including the Cherokees, and well, maybe we'll even talk about the new Cherokees as well, and maybe some Renegades in there as well. I'm trying to keep it fair and balanced here, people, but nonetheless, guys, every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central, we broadcast it live on YouTube as well as over on xjtalkshow.com. And there is where you guys really want to go, because there you guys have a little chat window where you can interact with us and other fans as well live as we do the show. So it's a great way to give us a little bit of grief when we screw up, or join in on the fun that is the chat room there at the XJ Talk Show website.
Exactly. And also, too, as we mentioned in the introduction, we've got Tammy here. So we're getting further and further away from the camera, so to speak, the video that's going out, because we get 3 people on the screen now. So, Josh, do you ever think we'll get up to like 6 or 7 people all on the show at the same time?
Man, that would be full on Brady Bunch, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And we would need somebody to clean up after us. So that would be the person in the middle.
Oh, we would need an Alice, wouldn't we?
Yes. We'd have to do that whole thing where we look around the boxes. But yeah,
up, over, down.
So, but like Josh was saying, just a couple of knuckleheads. Tammy, is it okay if I refer to you as a knucklehead?
Actually, some people might call me a dork.
Well, dork is good. I mean, this is like the century.
Company.
This is like the century of the nerd, because
there's
so many nerds. I mean, the Big Bang Theory.
You here are a nerd.
The Big Bang Theory. It's a show about nerds that's doing just gangbusters. So, dork or a nerd's not such a bad thing, Tammy. But anyway, I was going to say just a couple of knuckleheads, but now we got 3 knuckleheads. All trying to do this thing where nobody's special. We've got Jeeps, which makes us special in a way, I guess. And we're just here to talk to you about these things and maybe entertain, maybe inform, and spend a little money on some software, and got a little recorder, and hey, we'll put on a show. I know time.
We could be two knuckleheads and a dork. We could have our own TV show.
Actually, 2 Ks and a D is better than 3 Ks, I believe.
Well, we have 2 T's and a J. I don't know if that counts for anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. XX, and then J, right? Or would it be a W? XXW?
I was going off of our names. 2 T's and a J.
TT and J.
See, I'm thinking XJ.
Tony, Tammy, Josh.
XJ,
or XX,
XJ, and
J.
JK.
I'm a JK.
Yep.
You.
Well, you guys know
now
me
that we
on,
got the
XJ...
alphabet down.
This is spiraling out of control.
Seriously. Well, guys, you can find me over at xjtalk.com as NW99XJ. And in fact, I am all over the web using NW99XJ as Northwest 99XJ, because I live in the great state of Oregon and wheel the entire Pacific Northwest. I love it up here, guys. And I encourage you to come visit.
It is the Honda stealing capital of the world.
Ah, you ass.
And, and of course, I don't know. I don't think I ever mentioned this. I'm down here in Texas, if you can't tell by my accent, and lived here all my life. And just Houston is just down the road a bit. I've never lived any further than 50 miles from where I was born. So,
wow.
Yep. And I'm not planning on moving unless I get billions of dollars, and I might move to another planet or outer space. But we'll still do the show. It'll just be a different backdrop, probably a very interesting one.
Tony from Mars.
That's right. If I could jump like that, that'd be pretty cool. John Connor from Mars is the reference I'm making. So, and Tammy's actually out on the East Coast. It's actually an hour later for her than what it is here. So she's looking. Wow, you're coming up on midnight over there, aren't you, Tammy?
Yeah, pretty close. It'll be Friday here before the show's over.
That's not so bad. I mean, unless you don't have enough sleep for Friday. Well, anyway, let's move on to our voicemails.
Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show.
And
we want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, this is Nikki G, and I caught the pre-show, and I noticed you're having some audio video difficulties again. And I'm happy to say that it wasn't me. I wasn't running the microwave and the toaster oven at the same time and shut down the interweb like I normally do. I did, however, in trying to improve my TV reception to view my favorite episode of Murder, She Wrote, stuck a fork in the outlet. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with your problems, but I'm pretty sure it's what started the fire. All right, gentlemen, I will chat at you later, and you have a good one. Bye.
Oh, man. Nikki G is starting fires. Now I'm really nervous.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Did you ever see any of those videos that we had from the mind of Nikki G? The shenanigans he was doing aboard the commercial, airline. He works at an airport. The airplane safety is in his hands.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Which airport? So I know not to fly in there.
Where is he?
Yeah.
I forget where he is. Is it Indiana? I can't remember where he's located.
He probably isn't going to tell us, so we're always on our toes.
Right.
Well, it keeps the air marshals off his trail. So anyway, let's get to our next call, and this one's from XJ Jake, which I believe he called in last week, and we couldn't understand him because the way cell phones work or don't work.
Hey guys, this is XJ Jake calling again. So I'm catching up on some of the older podcasts here, and having Tammy Jeep Mom on here is making me think a little bit. I think she's got this figured out. She goes out, she spends $35,000, maybe $40,000 on a vehicle, and spends a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 to build it up to what she wants it. Well, we're doing exactly the opposite. We're out there spending a couple hundred, maybe a couple $1,000s on a vehicle, and then spending $35,000 to $40,000 to make it what she has. Just a little food for thought. Have a good one, guys.
See, I saw this actually. Now that I'm listening to it, I remember reading it because this comes in through Google Voice, and they do a voice to text conversion, and I get an email,
which is always spot on.
Yeah, it's not perfect yet. It's not quite the 21st century, so we don't have exact conversion there. So, but anyway, I was reading this, and I disagree. I mean, I understand where he's going with this, but I disagree because now, at least in my case, I did buy my Jeep brand new, but you can go out there and get a perfectly good XJ for a couple of grand. And if you put $5,000 into it, you can completely change the axles with lockers, Dana 44s. And I mean, then you got to spend another, let's say $1,000 on a lift. Get some decent shocks on there. Some is it Bilsteins?
Bilstein. Yeah.
Get some decent shocks on there. And, other than maybe swap it in the Atlas, which is another, what is it? $3,000, 3.5 grand.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can probably get one for about $2,500.
So what are we talking about? We're talking about less than $10,000 here.
That's about the running
top off. And you have to buy a special.
No, not everybody has to drive around with it. Not everybody is a big show off, Tammy, and we don't have to all have no top.
And I've got a sunroof, so I'm halfway there.
Yeah, that bastard got a sunroof on his. I thought mine had everything because it was on the showroom floor. It was fully loaded, and I was like,
"Do your doors come off?"
Yeah, they do.
Oh, you can ride with your doors off.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't come off as easy as they do on the Wrangler, of course. You have to actually work at it. You can't just, I think I'll take the doors off today. I think I'll just take off the top. You have to work at it. It's manly stuff. It's Mike Manly stuff. But,
there you go.
No, I mean, certainly.
And I hear a cease and desist letter getting typed up as we speak.
Well, so I mean, it's a lot of fun. You know, we're a 3 Jeep family, but one is a TJ, one is an XJ. Of course, the other one's an XJ. But I drive the XJ, my wife drives the TJ, and it's a lot of fun. You know, pulling that top off and taking the doors off, especially with the tube doors that I got off of Craigslist, and popping the mirrors on there. It's a different kind of vehicle than what the XJ is. But at the end of the day, I enjoy driving my XJ every day.
And to each his own. We all, thank God, we're not all the same.
Yeah, exactly. And but I'm just saying that you don't have to have a JK to go off road, and you don't have to spend $40,000 to be able to go off road. And that's just pointing that out for XJ Jake. But I think he was just going for a humorous statement there.
No, and yeah, I think so too. But that definitely is some good food for thought. I've never really quite looked at it in that light before, but man, he has a good point.
Well, you don't.
He's really smart.
You do have to have. You do have warranty, and you do have all the niceties of new and that new car smell. What does the new car smell like on the new Jeeps, Tammy? Does it smell like mud, dirt?
Same. No, it's the same as any other vehicle.
Okay.
New car smell.
That's a little disappointing. All right, let's hear one more from Nikki G.
Hey, this is Nikki G, and I have no idea what is up with my phone call quality. I don't know if it's my phone or my service provider, but I'm going to conduct a series of experiments, and we'll see if we can pinpoint it. Last phone call I made, I was sitting on my couch, tinfoil free.
Oh, no.
This phone call, I stripped down to my boxers. And the face you just made is pretty much the same look I got from the Walmart manager. All right, guys, I'll chat you later. Have a good one. Bye.
Now, personally, I think that's animal cruelty to put on boxers and strip down naked and put on a pair of boxers. But or maybe I'm going too far. Maybe it was one small boxer that he needed.
Jeez.
All right, well, let's get out of here. Now it is time for some YouTube love.
Well, we've got, we're knocking on the door of 1,000 subscribers and just about 250,000 views, guys. Keep those subscriptions coming and make sure you're telling a friend. We pick, about 4 names out of our list every week, and these are in no particular order. These are just some of our more recent subscribers that certainly not very recent, but they're subscribers nonetheless, and we like to give them a little shout out each and every week. Tony, who's first on our list this week?
Larry Franco. I remember Larry.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that name in the chat room in a while, but definitely a longtime subscriber. Chase Steffel.
Then we have Only in a Cherokee.
That was
doing Only in a Cherokee.
That was some quick show note changes, people, after our discussion about the JKs. I had to have her say that one. And we have Jose Alberto Laponian, I think.
Yep, and that rounds out our list, guys. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please head over to youtube.com/xjtalk and subscribe right now.
Hey folks, I'm Clyde and this is Tommy from the Paps Boys House. You're listening to the XJ Talk Show with Tony and Josh. Cheers!
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
I wish the Paps Boys would go. Oh, that's right. They don't have enough subscribers yet. I was going to say, I wish they would actually get a link that wasn't the long numbers and cryptic looking crap, so we could actually put it up there and just say, hey, go to, Paps Boys, like youtube.com/Paps Boys. But I think it was Clyde that reminded me they don't have enough subscribers yet. So you could help some fellow Jeepers out by going over there and doing a search for the Paps Boys. You see them, you saw them on the video. So look for Tommy and Clyde and go over there and subscribe to their channel. So these poor guys can actually get a name for their channel instead of that gobbledygook that nobody, and it's like you're being punished by YouTube, like you're not popular enough to let us to give us a situation or put you in a situation where you can get more popular, because it's easy for people to tell what you're where to go to find you.
So all you podcasters out there that are listening to this on your computer, on your MP3 player, your smartphone, head over to YouTube right now. Do a quick search for Paps Boys. You guys are going to find them very easily. Can't miss their videos. And subscribe right now. It's definitely worth it. Those guys put out some awesome
hilarious.
videos.
Yeah.
Very informative as well as entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So, got to check them out. Paps Boys over on YouTube.
Yeah, the great thing is that they mix really good how-to videos, and they go through it with enough detail so that you have a good idea of how to accomplish the task. But they do it funny, and I swear they must get very drunk doing it, because they're popping beer tops.
PBRs.
Yes, every break, every time there's a little change in the video, it's like, that we're going to cut in a beer, and they must slide and fall a lot, because I see a lot of foam hitting the floor.
Hey, it worked. YouTube.com/PapsBoys.
Oh, they got it
right now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was quick. We were just asking people to subscribe, and they subscribed, and they changed
Look
the
at that.
name.
You
That's
guys
great.
did some awesome work. YouTube.com/PapsBoys. Good job, guys.
Thanks for looking that up and making me look like an idiot, Josh.
That's the magic of radio right there.
It is. Well, it's because we're on now, but we actually release on Monday. So between now and Monday is when that's happened. So I'm going with that. All right. Well, here's something that we haven't had in a long time, and we're bringing it back. It's been sorely missed, and that's product reviews. And thankfully, Jeep Mama is a lot more popular in her Jeep Mama blog than what we are on this show. So she actually has people, companies saying, "Hey, would you review my product?" So we're going to reap that benefit and get to hear about a review. And what are we going to be looking at or listening to tonight, Tammy?
Well, it's my Barricade rock sliders and from Extreme Terrain. And my first modification was to my bumper. And I purchased the Trail Force HD bumper from Extreme Terrain, and they saw my blog, and they're like, "Hey, could you check out these Barricade rock sliders?" And actually, the sliders was one of the first things that I really wanted to do on my Sahara. But everyone was telling me, no, you need to get recovery points done first.
Yeah.
But looking back, I think if you have a Sahara, because the Sport and the Rubicon generally don't come with any side steps. The Sahara came with the side steps. Now you have the side steps, rock sliders, and then you have rock rails. The side step is the plastic stock Jeep side step that's typically on the Saharas. And they're not meant for rock crawling. They're just meant for stepping on. And then the rock sliders are the rocker guards. They're the strong side rails that help protect you and your rocker panel and the undercarriage of your Jeep when you're out off-roading. And then the rock rails is a special heavy gauge steel tubing that provides added lower body side protection when you're off-roading. So my Rubicon came with the Ruby rails. So when I had my Sahara, I took off my side steps, which I wish I would have done that in the first place and just ran without anything. Because when I was off-roading, I hit a rock and it pushed up the side step, and thank goodness it didn't push up too far into the door, but it cracked the step and it could have damaged my door. So anyway, my Barricade rock sliders, I got them. I took off the side steps and I was installing them, and they're very, very easy to install. Once you figure out what body mount bolts are, and I'm sure you all know what they are. Everyone else out there listening knows what they are, but I didn't. So I'm in my garage looking all over underneath the Jeep, like, what the heck? Where are these? So I had to go do a Google search, and there they are right there. They were right in front of my face. If they were a snake, they would have bit me, I'm sure. So anyway, they're very easy to put on. Anybody can install them. If I can install them, anybody can install them. So you remove the body bolts, and then you take the big washer and you put it in the mounting case of the sliders. And you really need an extra person to help hold it up because it is really heavy. And then you just, mount them up. Now, some people on the internet and these install videos, these washers need to be grinded on the sides. Well, mine didn't. You just take a hammer and, just tap it in and it will go in. and they were just really super easy to put on. And once they were on, it just makes your Jeep look so much more badass. And they're very good at protecting your doors, because when I go out off-roading now, I can hear the rocks just scraping alongside, and it does nothing to them. Anyway, so I'm glad that I put them on. I think they're an awesome accessory to my Jeep. They provide undercarriage protection. They also double as a convenient step. They're a heavy-duty tubular stainless steel construction. They're also black power coated, and they're just a real easy bolt-on installation. And they fit pretty much all the JKs. They do make them for 2 doors. They have a 3-year limited warranty. And they, right now at Extreme Terrain, unfortunately, they're out of stock because they're so popular. And they run about $350. I'm really glad I have them. And if I had to do it all over again, that would be the first purchase I would make for my Jeep. I would have definitely got rid of those side steps and put these on. And so then I traded in my Sahara for the Rubicon, and my Rubicon came with the Ruby rails, which is just the small tubular thing that runs on the bottom of the Jeep. And everyone kept telling me, you can't do both. You can't do both. And I'm like, why can't I do both? So I put them on, and these sliders work with the Rubicon rails. Most of the sliders do not, but these do. You just have to adjust it a little. And so now I have double protection on my Rubicon. So I would say this is a great purchase, and it's a great price.
No, I agree.
I was just doing a quick search because I'm not familiar with the Extreme Terrain product line. So I typed in a quick Google search for Barricade rock sliders. And wouldn't you know it, the 1, 2, 3, 4th result and the 5th result and the 8th result are all from JeepMama.com.
Yep.
So if you guys do a quick Google search right now for Barricade rock sliders, you're going to see Jeep Mama putting her rock sliders on her JK right now.
And I did learn, because I was like, I'm not going to get these washers in the mount. And my husband's like, just go grab a hammer and pound them in. I'm like,
yeah,
no. And he's like, it's not that big a deal. And he went tap, tap, and it went in. So now I get why you guys use hammers all the time to fix stuff, because, it worked.
Yeah, it's you got to get away from that fear of tearing something up. And once you get past that fear, you learn that, it's kind of one of the reasons why men have fits. It just says, the hell with this, and you slam it in place and you go on about your business.
Right.
It's funny because it works out a lot of times, and sometimes we're surprised and we just act like we meant to do it.
Right. Of course I meant to put that there.
Yep. So I was just going to say, the sliders are a great idea. I still maintain that toe points are going to be your first thing that you want to make sure that you get on a Jeep. Whenever you get a new Jeep, you definitely need toe points, because if you go off-road, or even if you don't, you could be on-road and be in a situation where you have to go off-road due to an accident or emergency or whatever. You're going to get stuck. I don't care what kind of vehicle you have, hydraulic rams instead of shocks, you're going to get stuck. So toe points is the first thing that you want to do. It's probably one of the simplest things to do too, and you don't have to have anything fancy. If you've got a class 3, I think, hitch, now you can get it for $30. You can stick one of those D-ring shackle type things into the receiver, a 2-inch receiver, and now you can be pulled out from behind, which is probably the best place to start with a toe point, because I don't know if you guys know it or not, but generally speaking, you got stuck going forward. You don't want to continue going forward because it's going to be really hard to pull. You want to go back the way you came. So
that's right.
Rear toe point first, then front toe point, and you don't have to have 2. And Tammy's learned this. You can makes out just fine with 1. Did you ever replace your missing D-ring, Tammy?
I do have it. I just haven't put it on yet because that's for next week.
I was going to say, don't give it away. I know what it was when you were saying it, so don't give it away. She's going to cry when
the secret's out. Now I'm horrible at secrets.
She's going to cry whenever it gets messed up. You watch. So, because I know I would. I got to repaint my my D-ring shackles. What color are yours, Josh?
Mine are silver. I have not painted them.
Josh Manley. He doesn't have time for painting D-rings. He's climbing over rocks.
You know, painting D-rings is like painting your nails. I don't know. No, I'm of course kidding. I've actually thought about painting mine red. I've thought about having them powder coated. We do a lot of powder coating. We send a lot of stuff out for powder coating at my work. So I've been told that I might be able to just kind of toss a couple small things in every now and again, and they can get in on the lot charge. But I haven't taken advantage of that yet. So, and it's not really a high priority for me. So we'll see what happens with all that. But no, mine they're the, Smitty built, or I forgot what brand. They might even be Warren. I can't remember, but they're the galvanized steel or the metal, whatever. They come unpainted, but they don't rust. So.
And I think we got it time for a quick fireside chat. If we
right.
keep it quick. Holy crap! The campsite's getting busy here. We got 2 people instead of the normal one.
Yeah,
I said normal one. I wasn't thinking, Josh.
Yeah, no, I'm far from normal. Do any of you guys know me? I'm nowhere near normal. No, but what's definitely something else that's not normal is a valve cover leak, and I discovered that I've got a valve cover leak in my not JK, in my XJ, and it's probably due. I've got 200 some odd thousand miles on it. It has never been changed, so it's probably about that time. So I've been looking at what I can do, what I should do while it's off, and I'm definitely going to be cleaning it up, probably giving it a fresh coat of paint as well. I've seen some other cool stuff about swapping it out for an aluminum one off of an older model and dressing those up as well. There's definitely some tips for removal when it comes to these things, guys, because as we all know, the 4-liter is an inline 6. It's a long engine, and part of that engine is right up against the firewall. And it's going to be really hard to get to a couple of those back bolts on your valve cover gasket. And so I would recommend, if you don't have one already, is get yourself a universal joint, at least the 3/8 style for your socket set. It is going to make things a lot easier, especially when it comes to doing things like a valve cover gasket change, or working on or maybe replacing the exhaust manifold, or swapping in some headers, something like that. So the other thing you can do to give yourself some more room, hang on just a quick sec, Tony, is to loosen up the engine, support it underneath, but with a floor jack and maybe a piece of wood underneath the oil pan or something, and allow the engine to drop down a little bit. And then they'll give yourself a little bit more room to remove that oil pan. Obviously going way far out of the way to give yourself more room to work with. But, if you're really fighting it, you don't have a universal joint and you're in a pinch, that would be a good thing to do.
If you got a buddy, take the hood off.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I've got mine pushed almost all the way back, pretty much as far as it'll go. There is a lot of people don't know is there is a second little notch for you to put your hood. What is that thing called? The kickstand for the hood.
Yeah, kickstand. I like that.
Yeah. So, and there's a second little notch right almost down by the hinges themselves, so you can push your hood almost completely vertical. And get it to stay there with that second notch. It looks just like the first one. It's about halfway up the hood, but it's down right by the hinge. So check that out.
I think I'm right about this. At least on the 97 Pluses, there's one, because my daughters use it. They're short, and I didn't know it was there, but there's one well up the hood, so that there's like barely enough room to get your head in there. Well, it's actually more than that. But there's like
3 total.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I know about the first one and the second one. I did not know about that third one.
Now you know what I'm going to be doing after the show. I want to go look at mine.
On the TJ, I noticed that the hood kickstand, as we're going to call it from henceforth, is on the hood itself. So I was looking around. I mean, when we first got the TJ, I was looking around for the hood kickstand, and I couldn't find it. I was like, "What the hell? They didn't. This thing is so utilitarian. They don't even put a hood kickstand in it." And then I looked up, and I saw that it was at the top of the hood. Is that where yours is, Tammy, or have you found it yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the top.
If you got a Wrangler, what you should be doing is when you open the hood, is very gently letting it rest up against the windshield.
Yeah.
That's pretty much open as far as it's going to get.
I can't. I don't think you can get the battery. At least in a TJ, I don't think you can get the battery out with the thing on the hood kickstand. I think you have to lean it all the way back to the windshield. My wife saw that.
I'll have to go look now.
Yeah, my wife saw that and she goes, "Are you supposed to be doing that?"
What are you doing to my Jeep?
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's like, yes, dear, it's fine. And actually, I think it was the TJ has a 4-inch lift and 33-inch tires, so it's pretty tall. And I didn't have it all the way out of the garage, so it technically wasn't on the windshield. It technically was on the brick of the house. So that's why she was complaining. And she goes, "Should you be doing that?" And I said, "Yeah, it's fine as long as I don't move it around too much."
What I'm doing. Yeah,
I'm a professional.
I got my hammer here.
That's right. So I don't know what else I might look into doing a valve job while I have the valve cover off. Look, I don't have any big wheeling trips coming up anytime soon. We've had some great weather recently, but my Jeep needs a lot of work right now. There's a lot of projects that I'm doing to it, so I'm in no rush to make this happen. But it will happen. Now, whether or not I go full on and do the valve job, that's kind of up in the air. But I'll let you guys know about that nonetheless. I want to know what Tammy's recent experience was with a shift knob. What happened there, Tammy?
Well, my transfer case shift knob, I got a new one, and so I wanted my just my regular shift knob to match it. So, I did a video for the transfer case one, and it was really difficult to take the stock one off. So I was expecting it to be difficult to take this one off, but it wasn't. And so I'm reading the directions. I got the stock shift knob off, and it said to put the new one on is to use the original screws that the stock shift knob had. But the Rubicon's, it's just like a snap-on one. So there were no screws. And I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to get these screws? And I'm like going online looking. And so I, posted up, where do I find these screws? And I showed a picture of it. And my husband's like, it's a set screw. And so I'm like, where do I find a set screw and what size? Well, I learned what a set screw is. It was already in the shifter knob.
Yeah.
You just put it on and you get an Allen wrench and you twist it on. So, every time I do one of these little projects, I learn something new. And for you guys, this is like comes natural to you. But for me, it's every time I learn something new. So now I know what a set screw is.
Well, the thing that throws me off is you said use the screws that's on the factory knob.
Right.
So then they screw you further.
Directions were screwed up there too.
Pardon the pun. They screw you further by telling you that,
right.
And then you look and you go, well, I don't have any. So obviously you're gonna, well, I can't do this until I get the set screws, and those bastards should have sent me the set screws. They didn't. Yeah. So I wouldn't feel bad.
Screws were already in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all. But yeah, it's always good to have a little flashlight and look and see, because you would expect that to come with set screws. I mean, really.
Right.
And it did, but they were already in the shifter knob.
Yeah, exactly. So well, that's
who knew?
good.
Not me.
Yeah. So I thought I would mention here real quick. I've been having an overheating problem on the highway again since the temperatures have risen up to 60, 70 degrees here. And real short, what I found is, and this is really Matt Sporenberg's idea, if I drive 65 miles an hour, the temperature will go slightly over 210. Now, it's probably in the 217, 219 range, so that's significantly higher than the 210. But I can drive 65 miles an hour on the freeway, and I really don't have any overheating problems. If I drive like I like to, which is aggressively and fast. Now, I'm not weaving in and out, but I do accelerate heavy on that 4.0 normally. And if I do a lot of heavy acceleration getting onto the freeway or taking off quickly from stoplights, it has a tendency to warm the 4.0 up. The cooling system gets hot, and then getting on the freeway, it just starts moving. That needle just starts moving as I'm providing that additional heat from the 4.0. So,
interesting.
Yeah, it is. So, but I found that over these last several days when it's been 70, 80 degrees out, if I just take it easy and drive the maybe 5-7 miles to the freeway, and then when I get on the freeway, do 65, I'm fine. I can go all the way home, 65, and it really doesn't move. So I saw a post today by Dan, 4x4 Podcast Dan, and he was talking about a story in which one of the tires, one of his 35-inch tires on his XJ just came apart while he was deployed over in Iraq and Afghanistan, one of the two. And when he came back, the Jeep had been sitting up for 7 years, and he went out there to drive it, and 70 miles an hour down the freeway, one of the tires literally just came apart.
Oh.
Yeah. So I immediately contacted him, not to find out how he was or anything like that. But you had 35s on there, right, Dan? Yeah. Was there anything else you had to do to the Jeep? Because see, with the 456 gears that I have in my Jeep, I think what I need to do is either go to 410s to get the RPMs down a little bit on the highway, or I can go to 35s, and those 456s will put the RPMs in the right range. So I might be doing 35s, Josh.
Yeah.
What are you now? Are you 33s now?
Yeah, 33s.
That's a tough one with 35s on an XJ. Now, Tony, I know that you don't wheel.
No, and on the highway, it won't be a problem at all. But no. I do intend to go off road, so it does mean there's going to be several things I have to do before I can do, especially use the locker off road.
We're gonna have to put a restrictor plate on your Cherokee, Tony. I think that's all it comes down to. Gonna have to lighten up that foot a little bit.
It's
here's the thing: is you go to 35s and you do wheel. There's a chance that things can start breaking because typically, you get in the 35-inch range, and there's going to be some upgrades that need to happen in order to maintain the strength against that kind of rotating mass.
Yeah.
And the other side of the coin is, you keep it with 33s and you suffer with this heating issue, but you do really well off road.
Well, no, I can buy it. The lockers have to go in. I've had those lockers for over a year now, so it can be very easily solved by spending about $500 and getting a set of 410 gears. But those 456s are a lot of fun. But again, you put 35s on there, then it's not going to be quite as much fun. I'll be in the 410 range of gearing. 35s, I've always wanted to do 35s. I just didn't want to have all the other additional things, the steering box brace, what else you got to do? Oh, chrome moly shafts. I would have to do chrome moly shafts if I'm locking up front before I took it off road. So there's all kinds of things. I'll probably go through main bearings, wheel bearings faster too. So I don't know. It's still up in the air, but I'm considering it. I mean, if Dan can do it, damn it, so can I.
Just trade it in for a Rubicon. It's easier.
Oh boy.
It's and you're learning this too because you're going through and modifying your Jeep. It's not always about easy. It's about the modifications that you can do and making the Jeep yours. And I've done a lot of stuff to this Jeep. I'm very proud of it, and it would be very tempting to go get something new, and it'd be a lot of fun. New is always fun, but there's
all the work you put into it now.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said for something that you've driven around for so long. Anyway, we don't want to go too long with this, so we're going to wrap this up. All righty. Well, now we're going to get to the segment everybody loves, which is the Wrangler Talk segment, Tammy. So it's your turn to talk more, which I'm hoping you're enjoying.
I'm not getting enough of it.
So here's Tammy. You know her as Jeep Mama, jeepmama.com with Wrangler Talk.
So, earlier I told you guys about how I traded in my Sahara for my Rubicon because I was bit by the off-roading bug. And I traded it in because I felt the Rubicon was going to suit my needs better for off-roading and maintain my daily driver status. And I usually go off-roading at Roush Creek in Pennsylvania. It's a 3,000 acres of easy, intermediate, and difficult trails featuring rocks, bowls, and hills. And I like to do the trails with the rocks on it. And when I had my Sahara, there was lots of scraping underneath, which was okay because of the skid plates. And now with my Rubicon, there's still scraping, but not as much. And I want to try the more difficult trails, but I'm a little nervous with my Rubicon because I just don't feel my undercarriage is as protected as I want it to be. And I need to keep my Rubicon safe because it is my daily driver. I have to go to soccer practice. I have to go to school, the grocery store, the bank, that sort of thing. I need to keep her protected for as long as I can because, like I said, I just bought her and I, only made a handful of payments. So I got underneath and she has the transfer case is protected and the fuel tank has a skid plate. So now I need to figure out how I can make her a little more secure underneath. And that's where I'm going to start doing some research. And I'm not sure if I should go with aluminum, if I should go with steel, because, you got to worry about, how heavy she's going to get. So, and my other thing is like, what do I protect? I have no idea what to protect. So some people suggest the lower control arm mounts, the engine and the oil pan, the transmission. Somebody said relocating the steering stabilizer. Also something about the exhaust loop on the driver's side. So, I'm putting it out there. What do I do? Where do I go? Where do I begin? And so I was looking to you guys for a little advice on what I should do to beef up my undercarriage.
Well, it sounds like you're off to a pretty good start there, covering the bases. I mean, we're talking, engine, oil pan, transmission, transfer case. Really, that's the big stuff right there. Covering the lower control arm mounting points on the axles. Since you are playing in the rocks, maybe something that you want to consider. Now, there are a couple of bolt-on options for those. I don't like the bolt-on options myself personally. The weld-on ones all seem to be a lot more beefier and offer way more protection and strength personally. But again, that's going to come down to personal preference on that. But really protecting the vitals of the Jeep is where it comes into where your consideration really wants to be focused on. And that is definitely the oil pan, transmission pan, and of course the transfer case. Those three. And typically, those three right there can be covered on the Wranglers with one thing called a belly tuck or a belly pan. And this is a large skid plate that pretty much covers the entire area there and works really well for guarding all that stuff, but makes servicing a little bit more difficult. Now, typically, they will have access to the drain plug for the oil pan and holes where things can drain out of and where you can swap the fluids and all that stuff. They don't make it impossible. It's just a little bit more difficult to do that. But you trade vehicle security and armament for a little bit more time on your maintenance schedule. So to me personally, that's a worthwhile trade-off.
So is this something that I could do myself, or is it something that I would need to have a shop do? I mean, is this an easy?
A full Wrangler belly tuck typically involves clocking the transfer case and potentially even moving the engine mount with a 1-inch engine mount lift on those. I mean, there's a couple few things that come into consideration. That's what I know of the TJs. Now, the JKs might be a different story, and I don't know the entire product line availability for tummy tuck options on a JK, but it's very similar.
Who's having
to
a tummy
TJ.
tuck, Josh?
Can I get a tummy tuck too while I'm at it?
There's somebody Josh knows that's having a tummy tuck because he said it twice now.
Yeah, but a full belly pan skid plate. That's your search terminology that you'd be looking for if you want to go with the best of the best. Now, your other option is going to be individual skid plate components, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with. And those two are plenty strong as well. They don't have quite the wow factor, but nonetheless, they still work just as good.
Yeah, a few people are going to be seeing that tummy tuck anyway. Except for bikini season. But personally, I think a full skid plate, the belly pan, is the most strongest way to go. Now, I'll disagree a little bit with Josh. I'd say the first and foremost thing that you need to protect is the critical piece. Now, those other pieces are critical, but not like the transfer case. You want to make sure you protect that transfer case, especially if you're going over rocks.
Now, the transfer case does have right now my fuel tank and the transfer case skid plate. Because I remember 2 weeks ago, Josh was saying to break out the Jeep sticker, and that can we'll be able to tell what my Rubicon has. And I have the fuel tank skid plate and the transfer case skid plate. And those are the ones that come off the Jeep, the factory floor. And I'm assuming, they're just as good as
they're not going to be as good as aftermarket. That's my personal opinion.
No, they really won't.
Typically the OEM stuff is stamped metal.
It's light.
So it's going to be, it's going to be lightweight. It's meant to guard you against, the rocks that kind of get kicked up. Or if you do find yourself off road and there might be a rock in the middle of the trail and you don't have quite the proper line, that kind of stuff. But it's not really, if you like slide off of a rock and full vehicle weight come down on something, they're going to bend and fold like nobody's business. Whereas the aftermarket stuff, it's all typically made out of steel. Now, the factory stuff is steel as well, but again, it's stamped sheet metal.
Right.
And they stamp it to give it strength, but it's still not very thick. Whereas all the aftermarket stuff is typically 3/16 to 1/4 inch steel.
Now, I don't know.
So I should do
Well,
a new transfer case.
I was just going to say, Josh, now, I don't know if you know about the JK stuff. I don't, but that's certainly true for the XJ factory skids. So before you go dumping those skids, which, by the way, people will want to buy those things from you.
Yep. Yep.
don't throw them away.
Craigslist will be your friend for the resell on those. Yeah. Just about anything you take off of that, you will be able to resell, on Craigslist or something.
People
help absorb the cost a little bit.
Yeah, people love the skid plates. At least that's true on the XJs. But you do a little research on it before you go buying a belly pan.
Right.
But I suspect that they did make it very light because they don't want to add too much weight because the EPA wants them to have a certain amount of MPG, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So that means that they didn't make it out of titanium to keep it light and strong. So it's probably just stamped metal. But research it before you buy anything.
Well, and I remember reading, I can't remember what it was, but it's like the bar that goes under. I can't remember the name of it, but a lot of people said the stock.
Is it a cross member?
Bends. Pardon?
Oh, maybe it's tie rod. Cross member?
it's a protection thing. It's not a skid plate, but it's for the transmission. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway,
might be the transmission cross member.
Yeah, cross member is the only thing I can think of.
Yes, thank you. It's not very strong because
that's interesting.
The rocks will bend it, so
that's true.
Folks online suggested replacing that with something more sturdy, or so maybe the skid plates aren't as.
Doesn't the belly pan take the place of the cross member? I guess it depends on the design.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the design. I was going to say typically it will be integrated into it. There'll be a transmission mount integrated into them, or they incorporate with the transmission factory transmission cross member. But typically, when you're doing something like a belly tuck instead of like a belly pan, then that gets into a little bit different story.
Is that pulling the stuff up a little higher, giving you more ground clearance? Okay,
exactly.
So aluminum versus steel.
Aluminum's going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, aluminum's going to be more expensive. It's here's the thing: aluminum is lighter than steel. It is strong. It may be stronger than the factory stuff, but again, I don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the thing with aluminum is it likes to it gouges easy.
Yeah,
you're dragging it across rocks, and unless it is smooth river rock, you're going to end up taking chunks out of it. Especially you go down like the Rubicon or something like that. You get into some of that slick rock, which is like the consistency of sandpaper. That stuff grabs onto everything, and it's just gonna get torn to what. So the steel, albeit a lot heavier, and obviously you have a rust issue regardless of, if it's painted, it's going to get scratched. Those scratches are bare metal. The bare metal will eventually rust. The aluminum doesn't rust. Now, Tammy, I know you're in the salt belt, so aluminum might be a lot more attractive option for you, just considering the climate that you live in.
Right, because right now, I went, how many times have I? Twice now in the Rubicon, and you look underneath it, and my skid plates are all like scraped, and it's all rusted already.
Mm-hmm.
And the salt even like winter was horrible.
Even like aircraft grade aluminum, the higher alloys are still, even though they're very strong, the stronger aluminum gets, the more brittle it gets. So that's the thing. Aluminum is a soft metal when it, all things considered. So it just in your case, it might be a worthwhile option. But again, when it comes down to purchasing anything for any vehicle, do a lot of research. Take a look at what other people are saying. find out, the people who have owned aluminum skid plates and stuff, if they would buy them again. That is the question that you want to be asking and want to be looking for.
Okay.
Well, Tammy, where can people find you if they want to see more about what you're more detailed of what you're talking to us about here on the XJ Talk Show?
You can go to www.jeepmama.com, and I'm also on YouTube. I'm doing a couple install videos, and it's the Jeep Mama. And if you go to my blog, it'll give you all my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, the Twitter, as Tony says, and Tumblr, where I just all of them.
Excellent. Well, another great Wrangler Talk segment. So, Josh, we were going to do a little something different, a little additional thing on the XJ Talk Show, which is giving you guys some more information about, in this case, where to wheel. So, what do you got for us tonight, Josh?
Yeah, this is another new segment we're introducing to the XJ Talk Show. And I'm right now kind of a work in progress, calling it Wheeling Where. And this is where we talk about what events are coming up in your guys' neck of the woods. Plenty of notice here, Off-Road Junkies, is most of these are a month away or more. So you got some time to finish off that winter project, kind of like what I'm doing. Now, April 10th through the 12th, it's the Trucks Gone Wild weekend at Slowpoke Mud Bog and Off-Road Park. It's just like Girls Gone Wild, except with trucks. But I'm sure there's going to be a few topless Jeeps there having some fun, too. Miles of trails, open bogging, and lots more. All going down in Eastman, Georgia at the Slowpoke Mud Bog and Off-Road Park, hosted by Trucks Gone Wild. For more information, go to trucksgonewild.com. April 11th, Getting Started Off-Road Driving Clinic. This is a training clinic in which inexperienced SUV and four-wheel drive owners gain expertise required to safely and confidently negotiate their vehicles off-road. Basically, these guys are going to teach you how to wheel. 2 days of instruction, and you don't even have to bring your own vehicle. It's going down in Gorman, California. Geez, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hosted by Badlands Off-Road Adventures. For more information on this, go to 4x4training.com. And April 22nd through the 25th, it's the 11th annual Tennessee Mountains Jeep Jamboree. 3 full days of off-road adventure. It's going down Oak Ridge in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the Coal Creek OHV Park, also known as Wind Rock Recreation Area, which offers some of the best rock crawling opportunities in the entire country. Hosted by Jeep Jamboree USA, so you know this is going to be an awesome event. For more information, go to jeepjamboreeusa.com. And if you guys have some information about an event coming up in your area, I want to know about it. I want to be able to get it on the show and get the word out there. So if your club is doing a show and shine or a cruise in, something like that, maybe you guys have a charity event coming up, please let us know. If you know about a four-wheel parts event going on or some other kind of Jeep Jamboree happening in your neighborhood, if it's a wheeling event, I want to know about it. Please send an email to newstips@xjtalkshow.com or give us a call 24/7 on our voicemail line at 530-675-4102.
Well, guys, that's a show. We appreciate you being here with us tonight, as we do every time you're with us, and we also appreciate you downloading all of our shows. Downloads are up, Josh. Oh, and
that's great.
Yeah, it really is. And I think I wanted to put out a quick shout out to Matt over at Bleeping Jeep. Some of you guys may be aware that we've been doing some Bleeping Jeep news segments. Josh doing the lion's share of that for us. And we put 5 of those episodes over there. We didn't see the numbers that we thought we would be seeing, and we wanted to save Matt the embarrassment of saying, guys, it's not you, it's me. So we did our final Bleeping Jeep News episode this past Wednesday. I know a few people were posting on the YouTube video as far as why, and that's the reason. We just felt that it's a different kind of audience over there. It's a very much of a how-to audience and not a entertainment or infotainment, which is kind of what we do here. So thank you very much, Matt. I really appreciate the opportunity to go over there and talk to your 47,000 plus viewers.
Wow.
He got 47K last time I checked YouTube subscribers. And I believe we got a few people over here to the show because of it. And there's no telling how many more people may show up by looking at the older videos. But again, hats off, not figuratively, not literally, but figuratively to Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's bleepinjeep.com, guys, or youtube.com/bleepinjeep. A lot of good stuff over there. So please, by all means, go check him out and subscribe to his channel as well.
Great how-to videos.
And we want to make sure that you guys are checking us out all over the place. We're on Twitter, like Tony has said, the Twitter. We're, of course, on Facebook. That's facebook.com/xjtalk.page. Stitcher Radio, you can find us at tunein.com. And, of course, iTunes. If you guys are a podcaster, you know somebody who likes podcasts, turn them on to the show, head them over to iTunes, and make sure you guys are leaving us a review. We'd appreciate those 5-star reviews, and leave a comment while you're there as well. Just might read it on the show.
Oh, and Tammy, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have anything to tease for next week?
Let's see. Wrangler Talk, I will tell you about my wiring, my lights install, and my new skill that I learned, and a couple of the difficulties I had wiring my new LED lights.
Oh, great. We'll look forward to that. Anyway, you guys have a great Jeep week.
Night.
Yeah, some of you guys may be wondering what that xjtalk.com is. We don't really talk about that much during the show anymore. I think we think that everybody knows. xjtalk.com is the Jeep forum that we started and what came before the podcast. So anytime you see xjtalk.com, that's what we're referring to. And the XJ Talk show grew out of that. So there you go. Anyway, thank you all you guys for coming in here tonight and joining us for the live show. As you can see by the sign on the wall, this is the post show, and this is not what you would hear on the audio only podcast that we release every Monday at midnight. Although, Josh, I might start releasing that earlier. We had one of our xjtalk.com members mention that he was really happy that the show was released a few hours early on Sunday. And he was actually able to work on his Jeep while listening to episode 169. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like hearing those kind of stories of, where are you listening to the XJ Talk Show? I think that would be a great segment.
Yes, it would be. I think we need to get a lot more people involved in the or downloading the show, because it seems there's only a small fraction of the number of people that download and listen that actually will take it upon themselves to call in a voicemail. You know how we found this very, through all the months and years that we've been doing this, we can rely on Nikki G to call in. I mean, he calls in every show, and it's always fun.
I got nothing but love for that guy. I mean, always going out of the way.
Up.
Yeah, he's
every
hilarious.
single week to give us a voicemail. I'm virtually every single week. I mean, out of 52 weeks in the year that we are most likely doing the show, he's calling in 50 of them.
Yeah, and he usually gets both shows.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're going to wrap this thing up and record our promo for that we stick on the front of the show, the audio podcast. Thank you guys for being there. Thanks for being active in the chat room. And, you guys have a great night.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. And thanks again.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for all your advice.